Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Today we are starting peppers and we are starting some frost tolerant vegetables. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm using this Jiffy seed starting mix as my soil for these plants, but we've got a lot that I want to get started. What we're going to sow first are my cold tolerant seedlings, and we are doing lettuce, spinach, Swiss chard, arugula, kale, collards, cilantro, and possibly some radishes. I much prefer to start my radishes in ground only because they um, create, like a bulb, which I kind of prefer that to just start out there. But I want things to happen a little earlier than usual. Um, so yeah, and I also might do this cauliflower. I have such bad luck growing cauliflower and Brussels sprouts and broccoli. Like I've been so afraid to try those again after such an epic fail a few years ago. But anyways, let's get our soil in our pots and then we'll plant our seeds. Okay, so I ran out of seed starting mix, so what we're gonna do is use regular soil. So let me just put this in here, make this one a full, nice and full container. It's so messy. I do not enjoy having my hands messy from soil, but I like to garden, so there. So I keep my regular potting mix in a storage bin like this. I drilled holes in it so that we can get some airflow through here so it doesn't mold, and it does do that. It just depends on where it's stored. Even with the holes, it does mold sometimes, but all I do is stir it up and give it a little bit more air. During the winter months, this stays down in my basement and it's typically fine, but I've had it up here for a few weeks now because I've been starting some things from seed and it's warmer up here. So we've got a little bit of mold growth in there, just a tiny bit, and I just stir it and keep the lid off for a little while. All right, these are my Vego Garden planters. We're using these and these that I got from, I was gonna say Aldi, that I got from Amazon. So our cold stuff's gonna go in here, and then I'm gonna start my peppers in here and in here. But right now, we're just gonna get the cold stuff planted, and I'll tell you what peppers I'm gonna do here in a second. All right, so the first thing that I want is lettuce for my garden. This is black seeded Simpson lettuce. I've grown this for several years. It is such a good growing lettuce. It tastes great, and it grows really quickly. So it says 7 to 10 days for germination, but I feel like it grows like faster than that. Typically, I have sown this directly in ground, but this year we're going to do pots like this. I just want to have, I think things will progress even faster if I have starts to put out um, outside in the raised beds. And I will be covering my raised beds with plastic to warm them up ahead of time. And we'll show that when it gets down to time to do that. Like I could do it now, but we've been so cold, so I haven't gotten around to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and start it. I'm trying to do 2 seeds per pot just so that we don't overseed, and then the second seed is just in case one does not wake up. So I'm gonna do a pot of each, or a seed tray of each, and then when we plant these out in the garden, should I feel like I need more, I'll just direct seed at that point. Okay, so we've got the black seeded Simpson lettuce. We'll go ahead and cover these up a bit. I just kind of zhuzh up the top of the soil. Okay, now we need a tag. Lettuce started 130. There goes our lettuce. Now we're gonna do some arugula. I love arugula. Tastes so good. And we did grow this last year in the garden, and it did really good. It actually eventually it went to seed, and then those seeds started popping up everywhere, which I didn't mind, the extra arugula. Come on. So some of the problems that you can have with starting cold tolerant veggies like I'm doing, it's January right now, and I'm starting these for to hopefully be able to start harvesting in April. But if the season warms up really quickly, you can have issues with your plants bolting in the heat, because of the heat actually. So I'm hoping that having these started early, we can kind of like get some good harvest before things happen to bolt. Hopefully they don't bolt, but we'll see. So bolting is when they go to seed sooner than you'd like them to. All right, arugula. Arugula. And then we'll pop these seeds down a bit. These should sprout pretty quickly. Like all of this stuff is pretty fast sprouting. So we should see growth probably within a week. All right, let's do our cilantro. Now I love cilantro. It's one of my favorite things to enjoy. These are seeds that I collected from the garden. And then I also brought up an extra pack just in case. But let's grow from our own seeds first. So we'll do 2. Oop, that one got 3. That's okay. 2, 2. Okay. So we'll push these down. And then for cilantro, I will definitely sow some of this in ground. Just because we love it so much, I don't mind having a crap ton of it. And we use cilantro like several times a week, so it's so good. I love it. Not just on like Latin foods, but I like cilantro on my pizza too. It just has such a good flavor. Alrighty. And next we are going to do kale. I think this is Dazzling Blue. Kale and collards do really well in cool weather. Well, cold. They can handle frost. All of the plants can handle frost actually, but the kale and collards tend to be a little sweeter after they get a bit of frost on them. Okay, let's push those seeds down. All right. Kale. Next up, we're gonna do collards. I love collard greens, and starting them early. Hopefully I will have collard greens that don't have cabbage moth caterpillars on them or have leaves that are all damaged and chewed up by them. That's one of the problems of growing these leafy greens later in the season. And by later, I mean like May, June-ish, if you still have them in your garden, because that's when you've got those moths out and they are laying eggs. Those eggs hatch, become those little caterpillars that eat up everything. So I'm determined this year to have gardens full of leafy greens that are not chewed up. So this is just my first round of seeds. Definitely will resow my greens, especially if it's working and working by having the beds covered up. And I'm covering my beds really snugly this year. So we shall see. Okay. Now I have this Swiss chard Lucullus that I got for free when I ordered from Victory Seed Company. So let's sow that. I love Swiss chard too, and also the chickens love it. So I'm really growing this for them. Even though I'll use it too, but they love it, and I love having this in my garden for them every year. And they get to eat this while I get to have my kale and greens. That one fell in the hole. All right. And I actually need to go to the Victory Seed site, see if there's anything on there that I want. I haven't looked at them this year. I've got carts in a lot of different seed seller websites. So like Burpee and Johnny's and Seedville USA. I love Seedville USA. And MI Gardener. I love MI Gardener. So yeah, I just have not pushed the purchase button yet because I'm trying to like price match between different sites and get the things that I want for the best price. Swiss chard. All right, the next one, I feel like, let me read this. I feel like for spinach, maybe I should sow that directly in ground. And I think I'll do that. And I think I'll sow the radishes directly in ground. I'll do another, because I have 2 packs of Swiss chard here. I'll do another Swiss chard, and then I'll try the cauliflower. And then we'll start the peppers. Okay. All right, so we got another Swiss chard. All right, now we're gonna do the cauliflower. Hopefully this will do well for me. Germinates within 8 to 10 days. So let's see. 2 seeds each. I think that one only got 1 seed. 1, 2, 1, 2. And I'll do these last 3 here. There. All right, all sown. Oh, I forgot the last step. All right, those are all done. So I'm planning on putting these out in the garden late February. So that's why I want to get them started, give them a few weeks indoors, and then transition them out into our covered raised beds. So wish me luck. See if we can squeeze this last one in here. Perfect. Okay, so these are all watered in. This shelf, I actually unboxed and put this together with you guys. This is by Vego, and it came with all of the grow lights, which is like top notch in my opinion, because then you don't have to buy separate grow lights, to fit the shelf. So that was really a nice feature um, for this. So we'll see how these do. And let me show you some of the other plants that we have going on this shelf. So down here, I have a greenhouse, a terrarium that I made. I bought this fishbowl from the Goodwill, and I turned it into a terrarium. So it has a couple different little plants in there. And I keep this because, if you have moist soil from a terrarium, you're going to have gnats. So I just put that there. Anyways, here's what we just started. I started some onions yesterday. So that's what's in these 3 pots back there. We have Walla Walla, red onion. I think it's South Point. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's or red globe. And then we have a pot of evergreen bunching onions, so like your green onions. Then we have some microgreens. I'm trying this again. I struggle so hard with microgreens. So it comes with, this kit comes with these two, the 2 white paper things, but they had seeds in them, and I added extra seeds to kind of boost the amount of microgreens. So it's doing pretty well. We'll see. The last batch did not do good at all, so I ended up tossing that. Up here we have hens and chicks. I just planted more strawberries. So strawberries here, strawberries in here. This is African violet with one hen and chick that got mixed up in there. The African violets are so tiny. It's so hard to see the little plants that are in there. Strawberries back there, and then lavender over on this side. Lavender is there. And then I have a little Hoya that I had watered on this tray. We've got the modern sprout basil growing right there, and it looks good. Now, actually, I need to dump the water, the excess water from here. Let me do that. Perfect. So you can see those look really cute and tiny. And then up here, we just have some random plants that enjoy a higher light. So they're under there. Now let me back up and show you the shelf. That's what it looks like. Okay, so now it's time to do our peppers. I'm gonna be doing Big Thai Hybrid, Super Nacho Jalapeno. These jalapenos were big. We grew these last year and they were like some hefty jalapenos. So definitely want these again. We're doing Shishito, California Wonder, which is a sweet. This is like your bell pepper. Then we're gonna do a yellow banana pepper, which is sweet. Lemon dream pepper, which is sweet. Then we're gonna do a pepper pasilla baju. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. And this one is like a mild pepper, still got a little bit of spice to it. And then we're gonna do a tam jalapeno pepper. I already know I'll probably sow more jalapeno peppers because that's our favorite. And also I would love to get a hold of some poblano pepper seeds because those are also our favorite peppers to eat and grow. Okay, so we're gonna start with the Thai hybrid, and I'm just gonna plant all these really quickly. So we're gonna start with the Thai. I'm out of those. I'm gonna have to save seeds from these this year. Thai, big Thai. I'm gonna cover those just a bit. Perfect. Now we're gonna do our super nacho jalapenos. Oh, we only have a few seeds. No. Okay, we have enough for one per cell. So we'll do that. 2, 3. Next is the shishito. Okay. Okay. Next is the California Wonder. And that's our bell pepper. Okay, the next pepper is the yellow banana sweet. Now, I like peppers, but my husband is the one who really loves peppers, but he doesn't so much care for the sweet peppers. But I feel like there's always a place for a sweet pepper in recipes, so I grow them anyway, um, and use them in recipes. And I think in spices too, like if you're mixing up your own spices, an element of sweet a sweet pepper is always good to add. All right, that's it for that. So we've got the yellow banana sweet, and then sweet pepper lemon dream, which I did not do the other tag. I need to do that tag. Hang on, we'll do this first. One, two, two, one, two. All right, so we've got lemon dream. Push those down. Okay, and then we got to do yellow banana. Last year, I sowed so many peppers. So many. Like, this is a lot too, but last year I was over the top. But we also had our biggest and best pepper harvest last year. So on one hand, it's like it was too much, but on the other hand, we had so many peppers that we just were able to enjoy and use in recipes. Um, it was great, but this year I'm cutting back on the amount of things that I start. So like what comes to mind to me about last year starting seeds is I had a crazy amount of snapdragons. I had a crazy amount of begonias, and there's so many other things that like a crazy amount of peppers. I'm trying to think of what else. And I think everything else was like bits of other stuff, like a couple of geraniums here, a couple of tomato. Well, I did a lot of tomatoes too last year, but there was just so much stuff. And then we ended up having aphid issue down in my seed starting area in the basement. It was just a mess. It was so many plants to tend to, and then once they're growing and they're in this stage, um, depending on when you start them, you will likely have to bump them up to their next pot prior to getting them outside in the garden. So you don't want them to get root bound in these tiny pots that can stunt the growth. So last year was just insanity, having so many plants all hitting the same stages at the same time, needing to be bumped up, needing to be fertilized, needing to be treated for aphids. It was a mess. So this year I'm starting things later. So it's late January and I have a few things going. Like you saw that my stand in the other room. That's all that I have started as far as seeds. Last year we had peppers, begonias, other stuff getting started like super early. I'm not doing that this year. I can't deal with that this year. So I'm starting slower, starting with a little bit more intention, and um, hopefully I'll have a little bit more patience to deal with what may pop up. But hopefully we don't have to deal with aphids this year. I can deal with fungus gnats, but aphids is like a whole other level because you got to spray for that. I use neem oil, which is, safe for edible plants, but it's just a lot to have the pest treat on your vegetables like before they go outside. It's just insanity. So we're starting the tam jalapenos, and I'm putting them into these Vego trays. What I like about these Vego cells is that you get 8 as opposed to these where you only get 6. I like that I can have 2 more slots for seeds. And this middle part is not it's solid, so you can't put anything there. But these trays also have covers, and the covers you can use for drip irrigation, which is really cool. So they have like this little dip in the center of the top. I'll show you right now. So they have this little right here. So it's a hole right here, kind of like a dip, and this has a slit in it. And so if you put water in here, it will drip into this middle section here, and that will disperse the water between the cells, which is really nice, really nice to have. You can buy these in different configurations. You can buy them without the humidity dome. You can buy them with the humidity dome, but things are it's also broken down to where, like, if you just want humidity domes, if you just want the seed trays, you can do that too. So it's a nice little option. I like both. I like these because they're cheap. I like these because they're sustainable. So you do what works best for you in your garden. Alrighty. So let's pop this in here. Okay, then one last pepper, which is this pepper pasilla. Let's hope we get enough seeds for this, because I did grow these. Oh, we got plenty of seeds, but I did grow these last year also. Okay, 1, 2. These have like some little extra, like, I don't know what this is with them. It's kind of dusty. 1, 2. All right. Need 2 more. There we go. Let's pop these under the soil. Alrighty, we're all done planting our peppers. Yay! So we're gonna add these to a new tray, put them in the seed starting stand in the living room, and we're gonna water them in. So let's go do that. Alrighty, water. So I'm adding water in from this watering can because I also have a mosquito dunk in this can, which means that these will soak up the mosquito dunk water. And in case any gnats lay eggs in the soil, this will kill the larvae and stop one part of that cycle. So I like to do this with my seeds. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know if you have any questions about the seeds that I started today, any of the things that I used. I will link in the description where you can find them yourself, or link it in the products section where you can find them if you want them for yourself. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Happy seed starting.